So now let's come to the discussion of today, that is monetary policy. So monetary policy அப்படின்றது any kind of policies undertaken that has an implication on the money supply is called as monetary policy. Right? Policies that are designed to influence the amount of money that is circulating in India, that is called as monetary policy. Okay. Now, who undertakes this monetary policy in India? Who is responsible for undertaking this monetary policy? The Reserve Bank of India. Right. If you go and open the Reserve Bank of India website, you can find this as the preamble of the RBI. The preamble is, of course, you have read about the preamble of the Constitution, isn't it? Okay. So what is the preamble? What does the preamble serve? என்னமோ சொல்றீங்க ஆனா அர்த்தம் தான் வெளியே வர மாட்டேங்குது. என்னப்பா? So I'm not asking about the terms. What is the preamble? Preamble serves as what? Very good. Sivaraman சொல்லுங்க. Okay, mind of the creator, of course. Right. It contains the philosophy of the Constitution. Right. The core philosophy of the Constitution is contained in a very short summary. That is the preamble. Preamble acts as the index of what is there in the philosophical index of the Constitution. Likewise, what should be the mandate of the RBI என்ற மாதிரி preamble எழுதியிருக்காங்க. So preamble lists out what should be the role of the RBI. Right. One, the first role is issue of, first role என்ன? It is the issue of, to regulate the issue of bank notes. That is the first function of an RBI. Second, to keep the reserves, first of all, to regulate the issue of bank notes and to keep the reserves with a view of securing monetary stability and to generally operate the currency and credit system of the country to its advantage. So this is the first line. Second line speaks about to also have a modern monetary policy framework to meet the challenge of an increasingly complex economy and to maintain price stability while keeping in mind the objective of growth. So there are many terms that are used here. So what an RBI should strive for. So looking at this, there are certain functions that we come across. First is issuance of bank notes. எப்படி bank note issue பண்ணுவோம்? How much should be issued? What denomination should be issued? இது எல்லாமே யார் டிசைட் பண்ணுவா? RBI. I'm sorry, I said what denomination is. Denomination can be specified by the government, need not be by RBI. RBI will just decide how much to print in a particular year to regulate the issue of bank notes. To keep the reserves. What does this keeping of reserves mean? Right? We spoke about how a bank should keep aside one fraction of its deposit as reserves in order to stabilize, in order to secure the safety of that reserves. We keep such reserves not with the bank but with RBI. We have defined certain reserves that the bank should maintain not with itself but with the RBI. All such deposits should be maintained by the RBI to secure the monetary stability. That is the third. And operating the currency and credit system. Credit system means loan system. Okay. So the credit system today is regulated in the form of banking institutions, non-banking institutions, isn't it? Bank Athandi, today you have many such concepts, especially after digital era. We have many concepts in which you can take loan. Just to download an app, do some KYC, or they don't even require KYC, fetch their Aadhaar card, they give you spot some loans. Buy now, pay later, பெரிய ஒரு கான்செப்ட் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. Okay. So who are they? They are not banks. Banks will use some intermediaries and these intermediaries will undertake this. Okay. So how it should be, whether we should allow it or not. இந்த மாதிரியான கேள்வி எல்லாம் யாரு காரணம்? Who is responsible for it? The RBI should be responsible for operating the credit system and the currency system. So what is, sir, what is the meaning of operating the currency system? Which means how people should transact currency. It could be in the form of DD. Demand draft is having a legal backing, right? There is legality behind it. Checks is having a legal backing. For example, if we give a bounced check, then it is equivalent to fraud. Okay. So check, it has been regulated by the RBI. So how the currency floats across India can be regulated in many ways. For example, today we have many payment settlement systems. Right? We have NEFT, we have RTGS, we have UPI. All of this are operated by RBI. RBI should be responsible for it. And to have a monetary policy framework. This has been added especially after 2015 to have a modern monetary policy framework in the Varta. We didn't have this word prior to it. Modern monetary policy framework. So what is that and all? We will read. All of this has to be maintained because of an increasingly complex economy and to maintain price stability. What is price stability? How will you, in order to maintain price stability, what you should first look at? Price stability maintain பண்ணனும் என்ன பண்ணனும்? Inflation கட்டுப்படுத்துறதுக்கு பேர் தான் என்னது? Price stability. Okay. So controlling the inflation is what is price stability is. In other ways also, sometimes prices may become unstable. Even for that, you are responsible. You can't just say that this is not my responsibility, because the RBI, being the monetary authority, you are responsible for holding the trust in that currency. If anything undermines the trust in that currency, you are responsible for making it intact. Okay, so price instability undermines the faith in the currency. That you should never allow. Okay, so this price stability also indirectly means inflation control. Okay, while keeping in mind the objective of growth. All of this you have to undertake, but it should not come at the cost of economic growth. You cannot control inflation by compromising growth. ஏன் இதை சொல்றோம்னா பாருங்க, inflation and growth are highly correlated அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நம்ம பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? Inflation, whenever inflation is high, growth will be high. Let's say you are in a situation where you feel that the inflation is high and it leads to price instability, and therefore to bring about price instability, you control inflation. But what will happen if you control inflation too much? When inflation comes down, growth will also come down, isn't it? You should not undertake monetary policies by compromising the objective of growth. So the roles that have been given to the RBI is indeed like walking a tightrope. சரிங்களா? அவ்வளோ எல்லா விஷயங்களையும் பேலன்ஸ் பண்ணும். You have to do all of this. இதையும் பண்ணு, அதையும் பண்ணு. இது எப்படி பண்றது அப்படின்னா, they have many ways in which they have to do it. So how we are going to do it அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, in this context of money itself, in the monetary policy itself, we will see. So monetary policy can be of two ways. One is an expansionary monetary policy and the other is a contractionary monetary policy. So RBI, by undertaking certain measures, will either increase the money supply in the economy or reduce the money supply. இதான் பண்ண முடியும். சரி, எதுவும் பண்ணாம இருக்கலாம்லன்னா அது பாலிசியா பேசணும் அவசியமே இல்லை. ஓகே ஓகே, அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஸ்டேட்டஸ் கோ அப்படின்றதும் it's not just does not mean that it is idle. There is so much of discussion sometimes to happen to maintain the status quo. சரிங்களா? ஒன்னும் பண்ணாம இருக்கலாம்னு சொல்லி டிரைவ் பண்றதுக்கே 2 மாசமா உட்காந்து பேசுவாங்க. Right, let's do nothing. For that we need to bring about a meeting, we have to speak at length, we have to discuss and then arrive at a conclusion. Let's do nothing. Yeah. So this expansionary and contractionary, this expansionary monetary policy is also called as an easy monetary policy. Contraction is also called as a tight monetary policy. Okay, so how we will do it, what are the tools that we do அப்படின்றத பார்க்கலாம். Okay, so first of all, if we go and visit the RBI website, on one hand we will have all this information, you will have all the press releases. On the other hand, you will have all the different rates. Right, what are these rates? In the rate line, what does it mean? Today we are going to discuss about what these rates are. So let's say in the year 2020, why I'm taking this into context, because this was the year of COVID. Okay, so let's say in the year 2020, around June, from June onwards, if you see, this was the prevailing rates during COVID. First rate is called as policy repo rate. The second rate is, right, we have four rates here, right, given as policy rate. Today also, if you go and visit the RBI website, you will have all this. Like okay, so you have these four consistently. One is policy repo rate, reverse repo rate, marginal standing facility, and bank rate. Fourth is the bank rate. These are all part of the policy rates. Then we have reserve rates. No rates, right? CRR, SLR. We have deposit rates, we have market rates, call rates, treasury bill rates. So many rates are there. We will just try to know what this is in the context of monetary policy. Okay, this is the current rates. Okay, இது வந்து 2020 what was the policy repo rate? 4%. Today, as of now, it is 6.5. So what has happened in between? The repo rate has increased, isn't it? So why it has increased? Why did we take that decision? To have a context, let's just try to understand what are the different tools that we have, why these numbers arrive, what is the rationale behind all of this. If there is a rate, which means that there is an operation behind it, only then will have a rate, isn't it? So what is the operation behind repo rates and all? We'll try to understand. Okay, right, you have it here. Yeah, current rates and current rate, policy rates, reserve rates, exchange rates, lending rates, and market trends. In the market trends, we have money market, under which we have something called as call rates. Okay, so let's try to understand one by one. So many things are there. You can எல்லாத்தையும் படிக்கணுமா அப்படின்னா ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. No need to study all of this, but here and there will be some notification given by the RBI. Any notification by the RBI, if it is in the context of financial intermediation or bank, you have to study. You have to at least know what they are speaking of.